Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Welcome to sunny Tampa. I wish it was that sunny near me. I'm looking out my window and it's a grey, horrible, windy day. But we're going to immerse ourselves in Tampa and those lovely blue skies that you see in front of you. But my name's Rob. If you don't know me, my name's Rob Wilson. I head up the team here for Visit Tampa Bay for the UK and Ireland. I love Tampa. It's amazing. I've got the next 15, 20 minutes just to talk to you about Tampa. And so you've really tell you why your customers should actually visit Tampa as well. I think it's an amazing 2-3 night gateway stopover destination. I'm going to stop talking in a minute, but do listen out to what I'm saying because there is that prize. We've got I think it was already mentioned, and Maddie's already mentioned it. We've got £100 food hamper and a Tampa recipe book for you as well. But I think while I stop talking, I'm going to just see if Charlotte can run the video for us. Hey, so hopefully that's given you a little bit of a sample about what Tampa is. You can probably tell it's a really, really fun place, and it's really engaged. It's chilled. It's what you want to make it out to be. And I really implore you to get your customers there. And I'm going to give you some reasons why now as I take you through the deck. Okay, so I'll go over that slide, which was just a video. If you don't already know where Tampa is, Tampa's on the west coast of Florida. It's on the Gulf of Mexico. It's not actually on the beach. It's actually on the bay. It's actually on the Garrison Basin and also on the Hillsborough River. So it's got this beautiful water-based scenery around it. But in terms of location, it's about an hour and a half drive away from Orlando. And we do get a lot of people driving using Tampa. I'll give some reasons in a minute. Over to Orlando, about an hour and a half. And it's about a 4.5 hour drive over to Miami. What we're finding a lot of people actually doing is, like I said to you, they're doing twin centres, particularly for Orlando. They may be doing 2 or 3 nights in Tampa at the start or the end of their holiday, and they're heading over to the parks. Or they're using Tampa to actually explore the Gulf Coast, those amazing beaches, both to the north and also both to the south. Or people are actually doing a fly drive, and what they're actually doing, they're flying into Tampa or they're flying into Miami, and they're open touring. So it's got so much more flexibility. So this is why we're saying Tampa is very much it's a bit of a gateway now to the rest of Florida with the excellent air service that we actually have. And that leads us into this particular slide. So from the UK, we have direct flights out of London. So out of London Heathrow, we have Virgin Atlantic, and out of London Gatwick, we actually have British Airways. Additional to that, if you're flying from Birmingham, you're flying from Manchester, you're flying from Glasgow, you're flying from Belfast, you can actually go in via the East Coast. So you can go via Boston, you can go via New York, you can go via Toronto. So any of those gateways and fly down. The other thing that we've been working on quite a bit, just with the team and particularly the airport, is onward connections. We've got great onward connections into the Caribbean and Latin America. Oh, excuse me. But we've also been promoting West Coast. So if you're flying to Tampa, you can get over to California as well. So you can do a really good twin center. So it's just about being creative there. But again, a great 2-3 night destination we are. Now, to give you an idea, Tampa Bay, as we call ourselves, is a big area. But I'm going to concentrate on the downtown areas and Ybor City today, because that's where a lot of tourists actually head. This map, hopefully you can see my cursor, gives you a bit of an idea about the downtown area, all complete on the water. Now, I don't know if you can just see, you've got this orangey yellow line that sort of circumnavigates the bay just around here. That's actually our Riverwalk. Our Riverwalk is 2.6 miles long. It's a pedestrian walkway along the river, and it's where all our attractions are. It's absolutely amazing, and it's really brought to life that whole riverfront. So at the very north up here, you can see this is a place called Armature Works, and that's an old factory that's been converted into a food area, and there's little independent eateries that just are in there, and you can go up there and have lunch, dinner by the river. There's some amazing microbreweries up there as well, and you've got all the old factory district with its cobble streets, very historic, and there's a nature reserve up there as well. And you sort of make your way along the Riverwalk as you go down here, and you see manatees in the river. It is absolutely beautiful. And you can stop off at the restaurants, you can stop off at the hotels and grab something to eat. You've got the Performing Arts Centre along the way. You've got the Glacier Children's Museum along the way. You've got the Convention Centre just along the way as well. You've got Sail Plaza, which is just this area down here, and it's a lovely. There's a couple of bars and restaurants actually all completely open air, and there's normally a DJ. They've got live music, and the Riverwalk. There's no cars at all, purely pedestrian, and it just hugs that particular river. And you can go all the way around, all the way to the Tampa Bay History Centre, and also the Henry Plant Bee Museum down here, all the way to the cruise terminal, which I'll come on to later. And the beautiful thing is our cruise terminal is actually downtown. We have 5 ships coming to that, cruise lines coming in all year round. So there's something for everybody. And if you don't want to walk that, Florida can get quite hot, as we know, and get quite muggy. If you don't want to walk, we actually have our Pirate Water Taxi. And there's a taxi service that goes all the way from Armature Walks, all the way over down here to the cruise terminal, and across the river over here as well. And it's just a really lovely way. I'll show you some photographs, and it's a really lovely way to traverse the city. So the city downtown, the Water Street development, it's been transformed over the recent last couple of years. And one of the beautiful things is you're actually not allowed to put the AC units on any of the new buildings down there at all. So it all has to be usable, livable space. So you get the most amazing bars, restaurants, relaxing areas on the roof, and you get this most amazing vista over the whole city. So I'll show you some photographs as opposed to the map, and you can see what we tend to do. We tend to say, look, when you're in Tampa, you delight effortlessly. And what we mean to that, you can take Tampa at your own pace. You can go out. If you want to go out clubbing and partying, you can do. If you want to just chill, you can do. If you want to be a history buff, a cultural buff, you can do. It's entirely up to you. If you want to be an adventure buff, you can go out on the river. You can do whatever you want at whatever your pace is. That's how chilled Tampa actually is. And it is the greatest place, like we said, to start your holiday or end your holiday. So, I've already mentioned about adventure. You can take it as you comes, and it means different things to different people. You can be up in the morning, you can be up on your paddleboard, you can go out kayaking if you so wish. Just up here in the evening, if you want a little bit more sedate, you can actually go out on one of our river sunset cruises, the Starship yacht that takes people out, and then normally have a DJ on a deck, and you get the most amazing views over the city. Just to the left here, you can walk the Riverwalk, or you can jump on the Pirate River Taxi, which is down here, this little yellow river taxi down here, or you can go out on the Lost Pearl, which is our pirate ship, and that does many of the cruises in and around. But there is so much to actually do in terms of adventure. You can do whatever you want on that side of it. Just downtown, if you want to take out the jet skis, and if you want to go on a powerboat, you can actually do, or they actually hire out, and you can go out on little tiki boats, and you can go out with your friends on tiki boats. It's just a really chilled out, nice place to actually be. So how do you get around Tampa? Okay, it's really easy. When I first started working for the team at Tampa, everyone said everything's within 15 minutes. I was going, it can't be within 15 minutes. It's an American city. It is, but everything's within 15 minutes. Everything's pretty much public transport or really easy to get around. And this is our very own streetcar. Actually located, it starts downtown, and it all goes down to a place called Ybor City, which I'll be speaking about next. And the streetcar is free. It operates from early in the morning till late at night. At the weekends, it operates to about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, because Ybor City is a great place for nightlife as well. But it goes from downtown. It stops outside various different hotels. It actually stops off outside the cruise terminal, and it goes on to Ybor City, and it takes 25 minutes to actually reach Ybor City. You just ring the bell, and the conductor will stop the tram, and you jump off at one of the stops. So again, it's really good fun, but it's nice the fact that it's actually free, so you can get around. And one of the reasons people take the streetcar is because they want to go to Ybor City. Now, there's a story behind. I'm going to go into my history storytelling here. There was a gentleman called Vicente Martinez Ybor, Senor Ybor. Now, he was Cuban back in the late 1880s, 1870s, when Cuba was actually ruled by the Spanish. He was thrown out essentially for plotting a revolution. He was a cigar maker. He owned massive cigar factories in Cuba, and he went, "Well, where do I go?" So he made his way up into the Gulf of Mexico. He found what is now Tampa in Ybor City, and he thought, "God, there's water. There's a railroad that has just been built. Um, I've got land. Let me build a city." And he did, and he actually built Ybor City, and it became the capital of cigar making in the world. And it's still referred to that way as well. Now, it was during the 1880s. He brought immigrants in from the East Coast, from New York, from Boston, from Midwest. He brought people from Europe. He brought people in from the Caribbean as well. So there's a real mix of cultures down here. And when you go to really, after got to around about the 1930s, you had the Great Depression. And that's when people stopped smoking cigarettes in Hollywood. People started smoking cigarettes. It's all very, you're not allowed to do that now, but they stopped smoking the cigarettes. They stopped smoking cigars, and the city sort of went into ruin a little bit. And during the 1980s, the city of Tampa, that was bigger at that point, decided to actually restore Ybor City to what it was, and it's absolutely beautiful. You walk down there, and the architecture is like little Havana. The most amazing wide street walks, these the balconies overhanging the roads, cobble streets, the old cigar factories. And you can actually do walking tours, and they'll tell you the story. You can see where the workers used to live. It's quite spectacular. In the evening, it's really lively in the evening, particularly at the weekends. And you'll quite often see people. You'll stop off at a cafe, and people are just having smoking a cigar outside. It costs about $2, $3, $5, depends on which ones you actually go for. And they're just watching the world go by. But there's actually the bottom left here. There's a particular image from J.C. Newman, and that's still a cigar factory from when Senor Ybor curated the actual city, and they operate Monday to Friday. You can actually go in there and see how they actually roll the cigars by hand. So it's a spectacular experience. And you might be wondering why I've got a chicken or a rooster on here. Not many destinations have that. And that's actually because when the immigrants actually lived in Ybor City, they used the roosters and chickens for food, for eggs, meat, whatever they actually wanted to. When they left Ybor City, they left the chickens. And the descendants of those chickens and roosters are still running about Ybor City to now, and they are actually protected. They've got more protections than us humans when we walk around. If you run one over, you get fined. I think it's about $300, $500 now. So it's an amazing sight. What amazed me when I was in Ybor City is they do actually fly. I've never seen a rooster fly, but they do. They actually live in the trees, and they are wild. So when you go there, Ybor City is a wonderful experience. It's 25 minutes on the free TK streetcar. So it's a real, you can spend all day there, and you can spend all night there. It is a pretty special place. Okay, so let me go on. I've spoken enough about Ybor City there. Food. Love my food, and Tampa is an amazing place. I'll start off in Ybor City. There's a restaurant called the Columbia Restaurant, established in 1905. It's the oldest restaurant in Florida. And you can go, it's an institution. You actually have to go to. It's always better to actually book as well. But you can go in there and you can actually have the Cuban sandwich. Cuban sandwich was invented in Tampa. How was it invented? A lot of those cigar workers, they all came from all over the world, and they all put their favourite fillings into one particular sandwich, which they could eat while they were making cigars. And that's how it came about. So that's essentially a Cuban sandwich, and you can actually go to the Columbia restaurant and try that all over Tampa. Really, really good. The other thing I actually love, there's a beautiful hotel in Ybor City called the Hotel Haya. And I think one of the questions that came in from a lady earlier on, just on the questions that came in, said, "What's your favourite restaurant?" Now, Columbia restaurant, absolutely yes. But within the Hotel Haya, there's a little pastry shop, and they do the most amazing, almost Spanish Hispanic pastries, guava pastries, absolutely famous. So you must go there and try them. Really, really good. But you can do everything in Tampa. You can do that traditional type of Cuban food. I spoke about Sparkman Wharf, where you actually have the containers and you have these food makers actually in the. Oh, I've got 5 minutes left. I better hurry up. I'm going to shoot along and carried away. But the thing is about Tampa is you've actually got Michelin star restaurants. Last year we were awarded 3 Michelin stars. And we've got 20 Michelin rated restaurants as well. So there's something for everyone. We've got the most amazing craft brewery scene as well, cocktails as well. So hence we're giving away the food hampers. So I better speed along and talk about our hotels. We have a whole mix of hotels. You can do from apartment hotels, B&Bs. You can go from regular hotels to 5-star luxury. Just got some of the hotels just here. Our first 5-star hotel, do remember this one, I'll give you a subtle clue there. Our first luxury hotel, 5-star hotel, was the Edition Hotel. We've just broken ground on the Pendry Hotel, and we've got a JW Marriott as well. Beautiful thing about these is like you can see here, this is actually the pool from the Edition Hotel, and it's actually on the roof. Spectacular. They've got an amazing Greek restaurant there as well. So it is rather special. So what else have we got? You can explore wildly. If you say Tampa, Busch Gardens. People love the roller coasters. They're Iron Quasi. I went on there. One of the best. I think it's one of the steepest, fastest roller coasters in the world. Absolutely amazing. They've just opened up the Serengeti Flyer as well, which is actually a swing ride, and I think that's the fastest in the world as well. Absolutely amazing view. So everybody loves Tampa. The beautiful thing about Busch Gardens is Busch Gardens Tampa. It's only 20 minutes, 25 minutes drive from downtown Tampa, and it's cost about $25 in an Uber as well. So it's absolutely perfect. So you can really, really mix it up with everything else whilst you stay in Tampa. So I'll quickly move on to here. Now, if you are looking to buy a pass, because we've got so many attractions and I've thrown a lot at you just in these last couple of minutes, you can actually buy a Tampa Bay City Pass, or you can actually buy a Tampa Riverwalk attraction pass, and they're available through companies in the UK. What I will quickly speak about are the sports. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you've probably heard about that with the NFL. That's our NFL team. The stadium actually hosts music as well. They've had Taylor Swift out there recently. Beyonce, you can get hold of tickets for Ticketmaster. You've got the Tampa Bay Rowdies in terms of the soccer team. You've got Tampa Bay Lightning in terms of the ice hockey team. And the ice hockey stadium is actually on the Riverwalk. It's a really cool location. Duran Duran were playing there recently. But you can go and you can actually get tickets and you can actually go and want them. And they're a really, really good team. So shopping. Well, this is one of the things we say about these 2 or 3 night stays in Tampa, pre and post. It's fantastic. Within Tampa, you've got International Plaza, which is almost next to the airport, which has over 200 stores. It's a regular mall, absolutely amazing. So you can stop off before you jump on your flight. We've got Premium Outlets, which is about 20-minute drive outside of Tampa. So that's all your discounted goods. That's just one of the Simon Premium Outlets, and you can go shopping, or you can actually go to Hyde Park. And Hyde Park's about a 5-minute drive across the river from downtown. And Hyde Park's very high end boutique shopping. It's a really lovely experience. It's got this almost Beverly Hills 90210 type of experience. You go there for lunch, you can go there for dinner, you can go shop. Mentioned earlier on, I think I'm just about right on time. I've got a few more slides just to fit in. But we've got our cruise terminal. This is rather special. It's rather unusual that we actually have our cruise terminal downtown, and it's actually on the Tico streetcar. Essentially, you can walk out of your hotel, walk across the road, and you're on your cruise. We have 5 cruise lines that are actually operating at the minute from Tampa, and we've just added Margaritaville at sea. So there is a lot to actually see and do in terms of cruise. There's actually a car parking lot across the way from the actual the cruise terminal, and Sparkman Wharf is right next to it. And like I say to you, you've got the public transport straight in front of you. So there is. Now, what we tend to do, we don't get the bigger ships that you do in southern Florida, because the ships actually have to go under a causeway. So we tend to get ships that take berths of up to 2,500, 3,000 people, but still sizable, and particularly when you look at the Margaritaville at sea cruise ship. But the other lines that we do actually operate are Carnival, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian. And we're 15 minutes from the airport in terms of downtown. So that's one of the things. What we've done just recently in January, we just launched a new online training academy, which you can see, which is visit tampabayspecialist.com. Do go on there. We're adding to this all the time, and we're going to have things like images. We're actually going to have logos on there, so you can actually do your own marketing for Tampa, anything you actually need. But it's a really, really good, intuitive site. So I would definitely recommend you actually looking at that. And I don't know if you're able to scan that. That will actually scan our guide if you so wish to. And I think you'll be able to. These are going to be shared, these decks, afterwards on video or recorded. But if you scan the QR code, you can actually get hold of our guide, or you can go onto our Tampa Bay website and you can download. We actually have a trade section on there, and you can actually download all of the guides to actually help you sell Tampa. And ultimately, I think I've just about covered off my 15, 20 minutes. I'm hoping you've got some questions. So I'm going to throw the floor open. Oh, do you know what? I think Columbia Restaurant is purely because this is the Columbia Restaurant I mentioned earlier on, and it's in Ybor City, and it's the oldest restaurant in Florida. And you walk in, and the outside you've got this Hispanic architecture, and you walk in, and you feel like you're in Cuba. And it's got so much history. I mean, you go there, you have to have the Cuban sandwich. You do. It's absolutely divine. So I think that is probably a real favourite of mine. But I do love going to Sparkman Wharf, and I've done this. I've stayed downtown at the Marriott Hotel, and I've just walked up. And do you know what? When you walk past, there are so many restaurants out there, and the way they've designed Water Street is the boulevards are extra wide, so you can actually have seating and enough space to actually walk past. There's so many different places. But Spark and Wolf, and they've actually got lots of eateries actually in the container ships, in the big containers, all stacked on top of each other. And you can just go around and choose what you actually want. But there's a really good Mexican there as well. I do love that. Oh, sorry. But if you want to ask me any questions, my details are on there. Please do feel free to contact me.